Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name's Joe. In this video, we'll be continuing our playthrough of the 1995 SCRAM season. This is a fictional stock car racing season, and it is from Red, White, and Blue Racin from Plaay Games. I've done an intro and race 1. This is the second race. It is March 12th, the Hurry Up 100 at Ocean Pacific Motor Roadway, which is a road course. We have our course card right here. As you can see, it is a road course, coastal California. The Hurry Up 100, or Hurry Up 100 rather, is 29 turns. No changes to escape or repair ratings on the driver cards, and it is a 2.85 mile road course. So here you can see our schedule. Next week there is no racing. We'll be moving on to the Dot Cola 400 at Dixie Regional Raceway, which is a short track. That will be race number 3, which will be the next video. But in this one, we have ourselves a road course, so we will be racing here on the road course. So in the previous race, we had Ernie Maldonado come out on top. He came from, I believe he started 15th, and he finished first. He actually was down in the bottom group for a little bit, but he did come back to win the race. He is the season favorite, basically. He is he is the best driver, the most accomplished driver on the circuit currently. Now in this one, I did not have any of the backup drivers race in the first race. In this one, I'm going to actually give them a chance to do so, but I'm going to roll a die to do it, to determine. So we have 3 backup drivers. We have Jimmy Vogt, who actually did race last race. Accidentally, he should not have. So I just put him in as, say, he was driving maybe the 98 car or something. Just kind of a one-off to get out there. As you can see, he's a two gas, no brake guy. He's got a few qualities, but he's not exactly a star. Then we have somebody that modern SCRAM followers are very familiar with, Wayne Montana. This is his rookie season. And as you can see, he's actually got a halfway decent card. He's with the 66 team. So we will be rolling to see if he gets a start. And then the third one is Nick Gruber from the 35 team. He's somewhat similar to Jimmy Vogt, except that he's a little bit better. Not in terms of fast pit. His is a 4, but his escape's a 9, and Vogt is an 8 in both of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll 1 die for each guy, and we'll say that if I roll a 1, they'll be in. If I roll anything else, they're out. Then next race we'll roll, and it'll be a 1 or a 2, all the way up to a 6, in which case they get a start, and then depending on how they finish, we'll use that as kind of a determinant on whether they get future starts. So I'm going to take my black die, and we're going to roll it. We'll do Jimmy Vogt first. And he gets a 6, so that's a no. Now we'll do Nick Gruber. He gets a 5, that's also a no. And finally, Wayne Montana gets a 4, so that's also a no. So none of our backups will race in this race. And we're going to move on now and do the TV drivers. So I'm going to actually reset the shot here, zoom out so you can see the entire play mat here. And I'll remove the schedule sheet, and we'll start rolling TV drivers. And just as I did in the previous video, I'm going to make this short and not actually show all the drawing out and the rolling of their placement and so on. I'll just recap it at the end. So we'll roll our dice and find out how many TV drivers we get. We get 10. A 6 and a 4, that makes 10. We'll draw them out here so you can see what they are. Let me turn this around so it's a little bit better. We get Lynn Valladares, 0 Cavazos, Ernie Maldonado. Whoops. Let's spread these guys out a little bit. Bobby Paris is the next one. Here. Fumbling with these cards. The new sets on the mat are hard to pick up. So here's Bobby Paris. He's the 4th. Our 5th is Lindsey Talby Jr., who I believe, well, no, he was not last turn. I was going to say last game, I think he was 1 as well, but he wasn't. Ralph Roach was, however, and he gets it again. So that is 6. 7 is Shad Kavanaugh. He's another repeater from last time. Then we've got Adler Brown. That gives us 9 and 2, 4, 6, 8. Sorry. Karen Mabry, one of our 2 female drivers, gets in here as well. And last but not least, Pete Pettis, and the Pettis surname is a familiar one to people who play, shall we say, current day SCRAM. And there was also a Pettis in the 1960 season set that I played before this one. So, all right, I'm gonna do these guys' placement. We'll start with Valadares and work our way down to Pete Pettis, and I'll come back and recap what happened here in a moment. Okay, here's our recap. We'll start with Valadares. He's over here. One of the many, as you can see, 6 of the drivers ended up on the bubble stack. So he had an interview, drew a placement C. He has no trophy, goes to the bubble stack. Second was Cavazos. He was also on TV. And he got on for his new paint scheme. And he also drew a C, and also with no trophy, goes to the bubble stack. Then Maldonado had a good time, good interaction with the fans this week. He has a gold trophy. He gets pole position in placement A. Bobby Paris here had a hot week with good times and drew an A and a chip. And the blue die was a 4, so he got the 5th spot. Then we had Lindsey Talby Jr. had a wreck in practice and drew a placement D, so he's on the bubble stack, even though he's a gold trophy. Then 73, Ralph Roach actually had a rules violation, got some sanctions. That'll cost him 25 points. That was my determination. And he ended up with a placement of C and is on the bubble stack. Then Shad Kavanaugh, right here. He's a non-trophy. He praised his sponsor, but he does get a placement C, so bubble stack. Adler Brown, he had tire problems and drew a placement D, but he does have a trophy, so he does qualify for the race, potentially. He's on the bubble stack. And then Karen Mabry here in the 2 car. She was on ESPN, drew a placement C. Her blue die sticks her in the 16th position in the middle group. And finally, Pete Pettis attended a charity event, placement C. His blue die was a 2, and he ended up in the 10th spot. Now we'll move on to fast week drivers. And I'll do this off camera and come back and recap as I just did. Our fast week drivers: Ed Swanson in the 8, Jerry Fierro in the 87, Billy Schrader in the 95, Greg Doty in the 66, Guidry Thibodeau in the 89, Ruff Thurston in the 36, Lemon Resendez in the 11, Ringo Ireland in the 15, and Mark D'Amico in the 3. Now I'll place them according to their trophies or lack thereof, and we'll come back and I'll show you the slow drivers at the same time. Okay, these are our placements now. That's the field so far. Here are our slow week drivers. Irv Jernigan in the 25, Barb Garvin in the 70, Ryder Kaminsky in the 57, Hooks Troyer in the 77. He actually had a really good race last week, was in the lead several times. Dick Exum also had a good race last week. He's in the 13 car. 44, Fred Schaefer, and 34, Kenny Jeffers. Okay, I'll place these guys, and then I'll fill out the rest of the field, and we'll get the race started here in a moment. All right, our field is set. We had 5 TV drivers who did make it off the bubble stack and 1 who did not. So the drivers who failed to qualify include Ryder Kaminsky in the 57, Adler Brown in the 49, our lone TV driver did not make it, Irv Jernigan in the 25, Barb Garvin in the 70, Fred Shaver in the 44, Kenny Jeffers in the 34, Chance Clemens in the 96, Homer Brackett in the 38, and Ron Whitson in the 54. All right, it is time to get to racing. So I'm going to put my dice tower back here, and we're going to start rolling here. Turn number 1 here at the Hurry Up 100. We get a 5 and a 5. So 5 is bottom group, and 5 on this particular track is the skill. So we're looking for skill. First one to have it is Ralph Roach. And we roll a 51 for him. And he does have 5. So 5, 1, 2. So he's looking at Billy Schrader here. And the 2 is good enough because Schrader has no brake pedal. So Ralph Roach makes the powerful move to get up to the 9th spot. Next driver with skill is Lindsay Talby. He rolls a 4-1-6. That is going to be good enough to get him into the 8th spot. Zero Cavazos rolls a 5 on the red. That is too high. He only has 3 gas. No. Earl Berman has a 4 gas, gets a 5, so that's no. Matt Keener only has 3 gas, gets a 3, 3, 6, 1. So that is going to be Jimmy Cottrell. He does not have a break, so Berman moves up. And we're starting to get some movement here. Oh, wait. That's wrong. It was Keener, not Cottrell. Or Keener, not Berman, rather. So Keener moves up. Phil Clooney has 4 gas. Rolls a 5. Winslow Weathers, 3. Gets a 3-3-3. That is a problem. So let's see what the problem is. We get a 66, which is going to be lost engine out of race. Unfortunately for Winslow Weathers, he's out of the race. Okay, next we have Brunson Houston. 4-1-6. So the 4 is too high. Craig Felder. 4-6-4. So that would be good enough to swap with Keener. No. Vic Holder is next. 6-3-6. So that's too high. Then we have Everett Davis. 6 again, so that's a no. Dick Exum gets a 5, which is good, and a 1 and a 6. So that's Ralph Roach, and yes, that is good enough. So Exum moves up. And Hooks Troyer rolls triples, so we have a problem check. And we get a 42, and a 42 is brake trouble, roll for repair. We are obviously in the first third. His pit crew is a B. So let's see what we get. Get a 7 and a B, first third, problem. He's good. He is good. Okay, so some bad luck there for Troyer. He ends up at the bottom. That actually is going to end the turn because neither Thurston nor Fierro has the skill. So that is the end of turn 1. We will be moving on to turn 2. I got to backfill rather the bottom group here to get it up to snuff, and we'll do that now, and then we'll pick it up here with turn 2. All right, turn 2. 3, that is middle group, and 3 is problem. All right, so we're going to check for a problem in the middle group. 32. Yes, and just so you know, I roll all 3 dice, just habit. That way it's easy. We typically will, well, pretty much always ignore on this particular roll. I didn't need to roll the blue. But it's still a 32, so 32 in the middle group is driver 3 even. So that would be Lemon Resendez. Now we'll roll to see what his problem is, and he gets a 16. Cut tire, undercarriage damage, roll for repair. Okay, so he is a D. And a D in the first third for a problem needs to roll under a 5 or under, and he rolls a 10. So Lemon Resendez is out with a cut tire. That one did not indicate a need for a yellow flag, so we'll start rolling here to see if we fill up here. So I'm going to roll, and I'm going to roll all 3 because it's possible for these guys to get problems if they roll triples. That is a 6, so that's too high for Fierro. Ruff Thurston also has a 3 rating. He also rolled a 6. Ralph Roach has a 5, and he rolls a 6. Lots of 6s here. Everett Davis gets the spot. He rolled a 1. 4, 10. So 4 is middle group, 10 is star. So the first star we have is Craig Felder. His gas is 4. He rolls a 6-2-6, so nothing there. Next star, Brian Hartzell rolls a 4. That's good. 4-5-3. 4-5-3. So 5 would be Stoffel. Stoffel has 1 break. He's not a star. He gets 1 bonus. That's only 2. So Hartzell is going to take Stoffel's spot. Move up to 6th. Our next star is Charlie Brake. He rolls a 6-4-4, so that is no good. John Gill, 5 gas. 5-3-5. So 3 is Mark D'Amico. John Gill is going to take that spot. Next star is Pettis. Triple 5s. We've got a problem check. So again, I didn't need to roll all 3. 55. 55 is odd problem. Pit crew A, which he does have. Pit crew A or B does not occur. So he escapes damage there thanks to the quality of his pit crew. So we'll go to Dick Exum, who is actually a starred star. He gets a 1-6-5, so he's going to take Kerry Holguin's spot. And because he's starred, he can actually challenge for the lead as well. So he gets a second crack here. And he rolls a 5 and a 6, and guess what? He's going to knock Maldonado. Even though Maldonado has basically 5 breaks, because he's got 2 breaks, plus he has the quality, which gives him 3, plus 2 more is 5, but he rolled a 6. So Exum takes the lead here in turn 3. And that is the end of turn 3 as well. On to turn number 4. 4, middle group. 4 is Trouble. Okay, so Trouble, we start at the top here at the front with Lindsay Talby Jr., and we're going to roll our 2 metallic dice and check their escape ratings. This track does not change the escape rating, so in Talby's case, he needs a 9 or less, and he gets a 5, so he's okay. Holgren needs a 7 or less, gets a 2, so he's okay. Pettis, 10. Okay. Thibodeau, a 6. That's a little bit tougher. He gets a 4. D'Amico, an 8. He's okay with a 6. Brake, a 9. Denny Stoffel, a 10. So far, nobody's getting collected here. Oh, Karen Mabry, our first victim. Jack Ventura has an 11. That's a really, really good rating. Chris Yoder, a 6. Gets collected. It's going to give us 2 yellow turns. And Craig Felder with a 9. Gets a 7. And Everett Davis has a 6 and gets an 8. So we have 3 cars collected in the event. Now we have to resolve said event. So we've got Mabry is an A. And we check A in the first third. Trouble is an 11. And she rolls an 11, so she's okay. But she is going to the back. Then we have Yoder. And he is a C, and a C in the first third is a 9, and he rolled a 10, so Yoder is out of the race. And Everett Davis is a B, and a B needs a 9 or less. Gets an 8, so he's okay as well, but he also goes to the back. All right, so we've got a couple spots to fill here. 3 of them, in fact. So let's start that right now. We'll start with Jerry Fierro. No. Ruff Thurston. No. Ralph Roach. Yes. Buck Trimble. Whoops. That doesn't matter. That's a no. Vic Holder. He gets it, so he's up. Oh, Longo. We got to roll Longo before I slide him forward. He rolls a 4, so Longo gets the third and final spot there. All right, I'm going to fill in the bottom group, and we will pick up here with turn 5, I guess, because here in turn 3, we've got a wreck that's going to bring out a 2-turn yellow caution. Moving on, turn 4. Actually, no, sorry. We had a 2-turn caution there, which wipes out turns 4 and 5. So we go to turn number 6. And we get a 4, 6. So 4 is middle group, 6 is control. So Longo has control, freshly joining the middle group, now trying to move up. Rolls a 6, 6, 2, so that's no. Holder rolls a 6, 2, 3, that's also a no. Craig Felder gets a 1, 6, 5. So he has control. He's got, yeah, that's still, it's 1, 3, 4. So he barely beats it, but he does. So Maldonado, who started on the pole, has dropped to 16th. Actually, it was skill, not control. It was skill. Did I skip Roach? I feel like I skipped Roach. I was looking at control for some reason. And it's actually skill, not control. So I don't know. Yeah, because it's 4 and 5. 4 and 5 is skill, not control. So Longo didn't move up anyway, but I need to roll for Roach. 2, 5, 2. That's not going to be good enough anyway. So Ventura gets a 5, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So no. Denny Stoffel has starred skill. Gets a 4, 1, 5. That's going to be good enough. And now he gets the challenge for the lead. And he gets a 2, 1, 1, which won't be good enough because of that 1. But he does move all the way up to second place. Charlie Brake, 2, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a no for Charlie Brake. Mark D'Amico, 1, 3, 5. That will be good enough to take out John Gill. D'Amico moves up. Guidry Thibodeau, our Cajun crazy here, rolls a 6, so no. Pete Pettis, 4, 5, 4. So that is probably going to be good enough. 1, 2, 3, yes. Kerry Holguin has it, and so does Talbot. 1, 6, 3. 1, 2. So that's good enough. And now Lindsay Talby gets a 3, 6, 6. That is also going to be good enough. All right, that is turn 6. We now move to our pit stop turn. First pit stop of the race. It's also the first turn we've had where somebody didn't get kicked out of the race. All right, we get a 1 and we get a 7. Our 7 is a 2 and a 5, so we swap the 2 and 5 here in the top group because 1 and 2 is top group and leader. Now we'll check for fast pit, including the leader here. So we start with Talby, who needs a 9 or less, gets a 10. Ringo Ireland needs a 7, gets a 9. Paris needs a 9, gets a 9. Gives him 2 chips. D'Amico needs an 8, gets a 10. Pettis needs a 10, gets it. Shocker, 10 is hard to not get. Stoffel needs an 8, gets it. And Exum needs a 9 or less and gets it. All right, so only swap we have is this one right here. Easy enough to make. Now we'll roll to see who challenges our leader. It is Pete Pettis. They both have a chip. That is a successful. Is it? No, it is not. It is not. So he's got 2, 3. So that is not a successful challenge because the blue die is a 3. So they get to keep their chips. Nobody. It was a failed I mean, I guess he could use his chip and then he would use his chip. Well, let's just play it that way. Even means they keep them anyway. So that is the end of the pit turn, and we move on to turn number 8. We get a 2 and a 6. So 2 is top group, 6 is control. This time it really is control. And we get a 1-4-1. So the middle one doesn't matter, and so you're really looking at red and blue, and that's a 1 is not gonna do it for Lindsay Talby. Ringo Ireland gets a 3 and a 1 on the blue, so that also will not work. Mark D'Amico gets a 3 and a 4. Now we're looking at control. He's got starred control. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's probably not going to get knocked out. You have to roll a 6 on the blue. Bobby Paris has 2 chips, so this is going to result in a change. So that one fails, right? So he's going to, well, let's see if they keep their chip, I guess. They do not. So both of them spend a chip, which now means that when Paris rolls again, no matter what it is, he can spend his chip and take the lead. So Paris is going to take the lead here. This makes him vulnerable, though, to Pettis, who also has a chip, and Stoffel has a chip. So it's a 5, which means he can take it without spending his chip because he's got 3 break. So Pettis is going to take the lead, and he will get to hold it because no matter what Stoffel does here, he's got a 4, which would be almost... Actually, wait. I just realized Paris does not have control. Stoffel, however, does. So he's going to... Let me re-roll this. He rolls a 3-2-5. So he takes it and keeps his chip. So almost messed that up. So we had a couple of lead changes there as Pettis first, and then Stoffel took the lead here in turn 8. Moving on to turn 9. 5, bottom group, and 5 is skill. So we'll start here with Everett Davis, who's at the back. He has skill. Rolls a 5, that's higher than his gas. Mabry has skill. She's a 1-1-4. So that is going to be Felder, and she is going to take that spot. Now we have Troyer. 3-3-1. So the 3 is Charlie Brake. He has both skill and a break, so that is not going to be successful. Kavanaugh does not have skill. Schrader does. Schrader gets a 3-6-4. So that would be Longo. And that is going to be a successful challenge. Swanson does not have skill. Cavazos does. Rolls a 2-6-6. So that is going to be Vic Holder. And Cavazos moves up into the middle group. Then, no. Berman. Rolls a 6 on the red, so that's no. Clooney. Rolls a 6 on the red, so that's no. Bronson Houston. Rolls a 1-2-1. So that would be Holguin, who has 1. So that's a tie, and tie goes to the car in the front. And that was Houston. Now we have Keener. 2-2-4. So that would be Hartzell. He's got skill and a break, but no bonus. So that is going to be good enough for, who was that? Keener, right? And that's it. That's the end of turn number 9. We go to turn 10. And we get a 2, which is top group, and 6, which is control. So So we'll start with Lindsay Talby. 626, that's nothing. Control. Mark D'Amico gets a 3 and a 2, so that's not going to be enough because control, he's got 1 control, 1 break, plus the 2 bonus, so you need a 5 basically to knock Stoffel out. Exum has 2 controls, so he can try twice. So that one fails. He'll try again. That one actually is a 5, so that would be good enough. That'll cost Stoffel his chip. And now we'll move to Paris. And he gets a 3, which is not good enough on the blue. And we go to turn 11. 3, that's middle group, and 7. 3, 7. 3, 7. So 7 is smart. Billy Schrader's smart. Let's see what we get. 3, 2, 6. So 2, he's going to have to spend his chip, but he will. So Pettis holds his spot. Next smart is Roach. Gets a 6 on the red, so that's no. Maldonado's a starred smart. He gets a 4, 5, 4. So he's going to take Ireland's spot. And he can now challenge the leader, who is also smart. So that's 1, 2. He's got a total of 4, so he needs a 5 on the blue. He does not get it. All right, so now we move to Jack Ventura. And he rolls a 5, 2, 1. That's not going to do it. Charlie Brake. 3, 5, 4. Well, he's double smart plus 2. That's 2, 4, 5. That's not going to happen. Maldonado's tough, man. Tough. Charlie Brake, we did. That's it. That's the end of turn 11. Go to turn 12. You get a 5 bottom group and a doubles. So we're going to have a problem roll at the end of the turn, assuming I remember to do it, because I tend to forget. But 6 is control. So we're again looking at control in the bottom group. Start with Everett Davis. Get a 2, 2, 3. So the 2, 2 is Keener, and the 3 is definitely good enough to beat him, as he has no break. Then we'll check Felder. He gets a 6 on the red, so that's a no. Hooks Troyer. 2, 6, 3. So that's Cavazos. And so Troyer will take that spot. Shad Kavanaugh rolls a 6 on the red. So Kavanaugh has the yellow triangle on his card. He rolled a 6, which means he has a problem. We'll roll to see what that problem is. 43. Oh, I'm sorry. It's an unspecified problem, and you simply roll the repair. So his pit is an E. We are in the middle third. He's out. You can't recover that. So Shad Kavanaugh's out. We'll continue our rolls here. Longo has control. And he gets a 2, 2, 6. So the 2, 2 would be Davis, and he's going to take that spot. Next up is Swanson. 5, 5, 4. So that's Ralph Roach. And he takes that spot. Vic Holder gets a 3, 4, 1. So the 1 is going to probably do... yes, the 1 does him in because it's Ventura. No. Carol Worthington, starred control. 1, 6, 1. So that would be Schrader, who does not have control. So that actually works. And now he can challenge again to possibly get into the top group. He rolls a 3, 5, 4. So again, that is Ernie Maldonado, and he has 4. Because he has control plus 2 break plus the bonus. That's 4. So unfortunately for Carol Worthington, he picked the wrong guy to challenge there. We did him. We're on Jimmy Cottrell. 266, so that's going to be a good one. That's going to be Hooks Troyer, who has a 3. So he's going to get bumped by Cottrell. Clooney does not have control. McGreevy does not. Ned Garnay does. 444. That's a problem. So let's roll for his problem. Get a 24. 24 is tire rub. Drop to front of bottom group. Driver's already in the bottom group. Move to the end. So Garnay is going to go to the end. And now we've got Bronson Houston. Gets a 336. So good for him. So that's Charlie Brake, and the 6 is definitely going to be good enough to take that spot. Now we go to Brian Hartzell. He's got a 264. So the 2 even is Longo, and that is going to work. So Hartzell back to the top 10. Eddie Rader rolls a 4, too high. He only has 3 gas. Art Farias, also 3 gas. He rolls a 6, so that's a no. Buck Trimble, also a 3 gas. Rolls a 151. So unfortunately for him, Swanson has control, so that is going to fail. Bruff Thurston does not have control. Fierro does. Rolls a 114. That's actually Mabry. And that is going to work, and Fierro is going to actually jump up into the top, or middle group rather, and that is going to be the end of turn 12. And I did almost forget that we do have a problem to check here in the bottom group, so let's do that. All right, 35, bottom group 35 is driver 9, so that would be Phil Clooney. So we're going to check Clooney here. 36. Vibration, drop to front of bottom group with the star, which means it goes to the bottom. All right, so now that will wrap up turn 12. All right, let's start turn 13 here. Whoops. One and 10. So 1 is top group, 10 is star. So looking for star, Ernie Maldonado. He is certainly a star. 6, 4, 5. So that's not going to work. Dick Exum, double star. Triple sixes. Yikes. All right, rolling for problems here. 33. 33 is odd problem. Pit Crew A, which he has. Pit Crew A, problem does not occur. So he does not have a problem, but that does mean he does not get to... actually, he's a double star, so he'll get to try again. 5, 5, 6. So the white 5 we ignore, but the 6 is certainly going to be good enough for him to take the top spot. Now we have Pete Pettis. He is also a star. He rolls a 1, 3, 6. So guess what? That's going to be enough because double star is 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 2 more is 5. So that is not a 6. Pete Pettis takes the lead. So Exum was in the lead briefly. And finally, Bobby Paris gets his crack at it, and he rolls a 6, 3, 3. So that is not going to work. So Pete Pettis finishes turn 13 in first place. And we move on to turn 14. And it's a 5 bottom group. 8 is Heat. Heat in the bottom group. All right, Heat in the bottom group. So we'll start with Phil Clooney at the back. 4, 2, 4. So the 4 is good. The 2 is Hartzell, and the 4 is also good. So that is going to be good enough to swap those guys out. Next Heat is Ralph Roach. 3, 6, 4. So that's going to be Worthington. And he does not have Heat. So that is going to work out for him. Our next star, or Heat rather, is Lynn Valladares. He gets a 4. He only has 3 gas, so that will not work. Earl Berman. 6, 1, 6. So that's a no. Hooks Troyer. 161. So that is odd. So that's Roach. 1. That's not going to get it done on the blue die. And our next heat is Buck Trimble. 1, 2, 4. So that's odd on the 2, which is Guidry Thibodeau. So that is going to work out. Buck Trimble moves up, and that ends that. That is turn 14 in the books. We move on to turn number 14. We get a 1, which is top group, and 10, which again is star. So we're back at the same thing we just did a moment ago. So looking for stars. Ernie Maldonado, still a star. Rolls another 6. Then we have Exum, double star. Rolls a 3, 6, 1. The 6 we can ignore, but the 1 will not be good enough to take the spot, but he does get to try again. And he rolls a 6, 4, 3, which also will not work. Now we have Paris, rolls a 2, 4, 1, also no good. That ends turn 15. No lead change. On to turn 16. 4, that's middle group. And 3 is problem. So let's see who has a problem in the middle group. 36. 36 is vibration. Drop to front. Oh, wait. We got to do the locator. Oops. 36 is driver 3 even. That's Gil. Now let's roll and see what the problem is. 14. 14 is cut tire to end of bottom group. So Gil is going to drop to the end of the bottom group. And that ends turn 16. So we are ready to go to our pit stop turn, but I need to adjust and do our fill here. So that one does not cause a yellow. So we do not have any automatic fills. We'll do Karen Mabry, see if she can move up. She cannot. Ruff Thurston, no. Guidry Thibodeau, yes. No. Actually, he only has 4 gas. Art Farias, no. Ernie Rader, yes. So Ernie Rader moves up. All right. Now I'll adjust the rest of these guys, and we'll pick this up with the pit stop. Pit stop turn. And we get a 6. Trust me, it's a 6. 6, 3, 5. So 6 on the pit stop. When you roll a 6, that is 6 is TV drivers in the top, middle, and or leader. So we have Roach, Talby, Maldonado, Paris, and Pettis. They're all in there. We do swap 3 and 5 in both groups. So, and now we'll check for fast pit. Starting with Ralph Roach. He needs an 8 or less. He gets it. Actually, yeah, that's right. Lindsay Talby gets a 7, needed a 9, so that is good for him as well. Ernie Maldonado, 7, he needed a 10 or less. And Paris rolls a 10, so he's the only one that doesn't get it. Now we'll check Pettis, and he gets a 7, so he gets it, which will keep him in the top spot. So now we have to move everybody up. So Roach is going to go to the top spot here. And I'll rearrange this, and then we'll move on to turn 18. Okay, on to turn 18. And we get a 3, which is middle group, and a 9, which is reflex. 3, 9, reflex. So, Jack Ventura. 5, 6, 3. He does have 5. 6 is Denny Stoffel. 3, he has reflex +1/+1. That's a tie, goes to Stoffel. Jimmy Cottrell. 1, 2, 2. So 1 is good. 2 is Talby. He has skill and a brake and that, so that's not going to work. Next reflex is Holguin. He gets a 4, 4, 2. So that's also probably not going to work for him. Because of the 2, he has a brake and a brake bonus. So there's no movement there in turn 18. Move on to turn 19. And we get a 6, which is a duel. And 5 is the number 5 car, or 6 rather, is the number 6 car in the top group. So Stoffel gets to challenge or duel with Maldonado. And so we'll go for this. And we roll a 1, so that is a successful duel. Since Maldonado has a chip, he can spend the chip to win the duel, so he will do so. We'll check Stoffel for a trouble result. So his escape rating is a 10, so chances are he will escape, and he does. So nobody gets a chip, and nothing changes, and we move on to turn number 20. And this time we get another duel, and it's 10, and that would be the number 4 cars in the middle group, which are these two right here. So I'll start with 14, Cottrell. He'll challenge Roach. If he wins, he'll take his chip away. He rolled a 5. He has a 4, so that means he's got trouble because he didn't win. And now Ventura will challenge Holguin. Needs a 5 or less, gets it. So Ventura takes that spot. And he gets a chip. I'll remember this time. I usually forget. These two guys need to check for trouble. So his escape is a 9. He gets a 4, so that's good. He's fine. And Holguin's is a 7. He rolls an 8, so he has trouble. Now we'll have to roll against his rating here. We are in the last third. He is a B. B in the final third for trouble is a 6 or less. He rolls an 8. Kerry Holguin is out of the race. All right, so the trouble result brings out the yellow, which means I didn't have to roll for Phil. Mabry moves up to the middle group, and everybody behind her moves up 1 spot. We move on to turn 21. And another duel, 6 and 9 this time, or 6 and 9. Yeah, 6 is the duel, 9 is the number 5 cars in the middle group. So now we have these two guys here. Houston's going to pass because he only has a 3. And Doty will take a shot. Why not? And he fails. So now he'll roll for trouble. His escape's a 9. He rolls a 10. So now we have to check him. He does have an A. A in the final third is a 7 or less. And he rolls an 8. So he's out as well. So he also wrecks and is out of the race, and we're going to get another yellow flag turn. So that was turn 22, and the yellow took care of 23, so we move to 24. And we get a 3, which is middle group, and a 7, which is smart. So smart in the middle group. Start with Rough Thurston. He rolls a 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So 2 is good, 3 is Paris, and 4 smart. So he's got smart 1, 3. So yes, that actually works. So Thurston takes that one. Mabry's not smart. No. Brunson Houston with his 3 gets a 1, 3, 5. So 3 is Paris. And that's going to work as well. We're getting close to the end of the race. This is a 29-turn race. Ringo Ireland is smart. 3, 1, 3. That's not going to work. Double smart, 2 breaks, and then you would need a 5. Jamie Cottrell, 3, 1, 5. He does have a 5, but that again is going to be a tie. Ed Swanson, 1, 1, 2. So that's good, but that 2 isn't going to cut it. Buck Trimble, 2, 1, 5. Again, not going to be enough because he's got 2, 4, 5. So you need a 6 on the blue to knock Maldonado out of that spot. Clooney gets a 6, so that's not going to do it. Jack Ventura has a chip, but rolls a 6. Actually, he can still use that. 6, 3, 1. So that would be 3. So he'll spend his chip and he'll take Brunson's spot. Brunson Houston's spot. Roach also has a chip. Rolls a 1, 2, 3. So these guys both have chips. So let's roll to see if they keep them. They do not. So both guys lose their chips, but nothing changes. And that is the end of turn number 24. Turn 25. 2 and 12. So 2 is top group, 12 is rare. So this is actually the first time I've encountered this in a while. So you have on your player aid card here, we have the rare results in the top group. So let's roll here. And we get a 13, and a 13 is roll again on super rare chart. And this time we get a 63, and a 63 is undisclosed security situation forces evacuation of track, cancellation of rest of event. How about that? That is crazy stuff right there. So what that means is the race ends in turn 25, and our winner is Pete Pettis in the number 7 Dodge. Second, Ernie Maldonado in the number 12 Chevy. Finishing third, Lindsey Talby Jr. in the number 9 Ford. Jack Ventura in the 40. Ford is fourth. Number 36 of Rough Thurston, that is also a Ford. He's fifth. Good day for Ford, apparently. Sixth was number 3, Mark D'Amico. That's a Dodge. The number 4 Pontiac of Denny Stoffel finishes 7th. 8th, the Oldsmobile, number 73 of Ralph Roach. He's 8th. Number 39 Ford, Brunson Houston in 9th. And rounding out the top 10, the number 87 Pontiac of Jerry Fierro. So there you have it. That is the top 10 for this race. I will post updated standings at the start of race number 3. But Ernie Maldonado is almost assuredly going to be number 1. So I'm trying to use the 1995 point system that was used by NASCAR to kind of give this a period feel. And since Maldonado won race 1 and finished second in race 2, I think it's fairly likely that he's actually going to be the top driver after 2 races. So, as always, feel free to comment, post questions, thoughts, whatever. I always try to reply, and I appreciate the feedback. But please consider liking, sharing, and/or subscribing if you would. That would be awesome. Even if you don't, I hope you'll come back and check out future videos as we continue to do them. So that is going to do it. This has been the Hexed Encountered Sports Edition. My name is Joe, and until next time, happy gaming.